Hi guys, welcome back to our YouTube channel. Welcome back to this new video where we'll talk about real live trading. So to start off, I'll go through some stats. Did you know that 90% of traders don't survive the first 90 days of the market? So it means, in the first 90 trades, it means most people will blow their accounts before they execute 90 trades, and this is destructive because it doesn't allow you to make money in the markets. So in this video, I'm going to share with you some stats. I'm going to share with you a real live account. I've never made public any account. In fact, no one on the FXBook team has. But for the last 5 months, we've been thinking about it. We've been getting people who are skeptical, and we want to clear the shade. We want to show you that if you do trading in the right way, you can make money. So I'll share with you some of my FXBook stats. I have 3 accounts. I'll only go through one of the accounts which I've decided to make public. The other accounts I won't go into them because I believe showing that is like showing your bank account, which is not really good. It's not actually advisable. But using one sample account to show people what goes on, how you execute trade, what's important, what the difference between a real account and a demo account, then that's also something that is valuable. And we hope that you'll be able to learn something out of what I'm going to share with you for the next 15 to 20 minutes. So that's basically what's in this video. I'll start off by sharing my FXBook stats. So I'll go through some stats that are important. Then after that, I'll go through some of the lessons that I learned while I was trading the account. And hopefully you'll take some of the lessons which are really important. The stats are actually not important. I think the lessons are more important. So take the lessons, note down, write somewhere, follow what I'll talk about, do more research, and probably you'll at least end up profitable or improve on what you're doing when you're trading from what I'll share in this video. So that's it. Let's get down to business. So to start off, like I said earlier, I'll first go through the stats, and this is an account that I've been trading now for the last 4 months. I started trading this account in October of 2019, so the beginning of the 3rd quarter, and over that time I've been able to return an absolute gain of 317%, a gain of 317, and an absolute gain of 156%. A daily gain of 1.13%, monthly 40.58%. The worst drawdown I had was 20.76%. So it means I was not managing risk in a bad way, because if you have a drawdown of 20% and you're returning over 100%, then it means you're managing your drawdown in a good way. It means you're not losing money as you generate the returns. So the initial amount I started with is $574, which is an approximate of what most people will start with. So when most people are starting accounts, they'll start with somewhere between $40,000 to $60,000, which is $400 to $600. And I've withdrawn $1,423, which is approximately $140,000. And the highest amount hit is 915. The profit is about 90,000. And for the that's generally, those are general stats. I think going down to what is important is actually here. This is where we focus on the system, how the system is performing, and this is what is actually important. So the rest is not actually important. For me, this is what is important, and this is what helps me actually to improve. So the first thing that you can look at is profitability. Profitability can also be called hit rate. So how many times are you wrong, how many times are you right? So out of 10 trades, I'm right 5 times, I'm wrong 5 times. So I have a hit rate of about 50%, which is not bad. Most good traders will get 50 to 65%. 70% you have to be very good, and it also comes with time. So like I'm currently working on this one. I believe I can take it higher from 49 to 51. I think I can take it to around 60-65 with the right time. The total pips gathered about 2,500 pips, average win about 41 pips, average loss about 17 pips. So it means at least for every dollar risked, I'm making 2. So every dollar that I risk in the market, I'm making 2 out of that, and that's how I've been able to make money and to generate good returns. I've been consistent also, and I think that's also a crucial lesson which I'll share within the lessons. So lots, long 152, shorts 146. So generally I'm not biased. I don't tend to take more longs or more shorts. I tend to take either long or short. I'm not biased to any direction. Best trade $51, worst trade $31. Best trade in the number of pips 245, worst trade about 120 pips. Again, a balance of 1:2. So for every $120 lost, I'm making 240 pips. Average trade length is about a day, so it means I don't hold trades for very long, but I think I hold trades for 2 to 3 days, only that I tend to come in and out of positions within the day. So that's basically why it comes up to, because this is an average of very many trades, about 221 trades. So of the 221 trades, if I look at my journal, the stats will be quite different from what you're seeing here. Profit factor 1.96. This is also important. If your profit factor is below 1, it means you're losing money. So you need a profit factor of about 2. It means that for every dollar you risk in the market, again, you'll be making something depending on your profit factor. So I'm also working to improve on this one. I believe I can take it to 2.5 or 3. Standard deviation, again, 15.76. Sharp ratio 0.24. Expectancy 115 pips, about 11 point something, so it means I'm making money generally. Average holding period and geometric holding period 0.68 and 0.43. So in 2019, monthly returns, the first month of 2019 I returned 64.41, then November 51.05, December 34.18, and in January finally I've returned 25.29. So we are currently in February. I'm liquidating this account, so if you are keen to look at what was up there, you'd notice that I've withdrawn much of the money that was in here. So I want to focus on the other accounts that I'm trading. But generally, those are the stats. I think you've seen how a live trading account is, how live performance is, and I think it's quite different from what most people expect. And I'll also share that with in some of the lessons. But generally, that's it. That's what I'm working on. That's how I've been performing on this account. And I think you can learn something from looking at it in this perspective. I'd also challenge you to perhaps link your account on my FXBook and look at the stats and look at how the account will perform. So I'll just go straight and share with you some of the lessons that I gathered as I was trading this account. So I'll share with you lessons in a systematic manner, and the lessons I'll share with you will come from the different topics of trading. I won't go into all lessons that I've gathered or everything. Some of these things, for you to access, you need to pay for one of our courses where we've shared everything. So the first thing that I'll share is the essence of a winning system. I think most traders have a system that is losing money, or they are trading a system that can't make money in the long run. So before you even jump into live trading on your demo account, you need to make sure you've developed a winning system. What do I mean by a winning system? It means if your hit rate is 50%, you need to couple that up with a risk-reward ratio of 1:2 or 1:2.5. That's the only way you'll make money. If you don't have that, if you don't have the discipline to wait for such trades, you won't be able to make money. If your hit rate is low, as that, let's say 30%, you need to couple that up with a risk-reward ratio of 1:1.4. If you have a high hit rate of probably 60 or 65%, then you probably need 1:1.5, 1:1.8, or 1:2. And the system will not only come from just looking at the hit rate. You need to think about how you manage other things in the market, how you manage trades, when you'll scale in, when you'll not scale in, how you'll come into trades, how you'll research the ideas that you'll be executing in the market, how many trades you're willing to execute, how you'll diversify the risk that you're taking in the market. So some of these things are really covered in the system. Most people don't have a winning system, and that means they won't be able to make money in the long run. So one, focus on developing a winning system. If you don't have a winning system, then you can't make money in the markets. I can guarantee you that. If you don't have a winning system, I repeat, you can't make money in the markets. So the second lesson that I'll go to is the importance of developing a trading plan. So many times I've met with clients, or I've met with people who allege that they know how to trade, but when I ask for their trading plan, or when I ask for details on their trading plan, they can't answer some questions. So a trading plan for me has 4 parts. One, how do you research ideas? How do you come up with ideas? So you need to have at least a formula for researching ideas, whether it's technical analysis, whether it's fundamental analysis, whether it's psychology, whether it's a mix-up of the three. You need to develop an idea of how you will be researching ideas. 2, you need to understand how you'll be executing positions. So how will you come into positions? Will you start with a small position, then build it up? Will you start with a big position? Will you look for good entries? How will you look for the entries? So the risk-reward ratios that you're looking for, all that will come into how you execute your trade ideas. The third thing that you need to focus on is how you manage the trades. So if I ask you how do you manage your trades, when do you know when to add into your trades, when do you know when to scale out, how do you manage risk? If you don't have the answers to these questions, then probably you're gambling in the market. But if you don't have a systemized way, you don't only need an answer, you need a systemized way of doing all these things. So 1, you need a systematic manner of researching your trade ideas. 2, a systematic manner of executing positions, how many positions you can execute maximum, how much you're willing to risk on a week, on a day, on a month, in your account. Then you can go to now, how do you manage trades? Do you just enter trades and wait for them to play out? And if they play out to your side, how do you add? How do you set targets? How do you set stop losses? How do you scale out into trades? Probably a trade has gone to your side but never hit your target. How do you decide when to exit? Because most of these things you'll discover, they keep on repeating. So you'll not only get one trade that will not hit your target, there'll be several. So how do you manage such trades? You'll get trades that will hit your target and bypass them and move further. How do you manage such situations? If you don't have answers to these questions, then probably you don't have a good detailed trading plan. A trading plan is not basically I'll just look for these patterns. You need a detailed plan which covers all these aspects. So we teach you how to design this trading plan, and if you're taking one of our courses, we can share with you how we developed a trading plan. I can share with you my own trading plan, how I cover all these different topics and how I refine it from time to time depending on the different market conditions which keep on changing. So from time to time I keep on changing my plan. So I trade my plan, I plan my trade, and I trade my plan. That's basically what I do for me to generate such returns. So the third lesson that I'll talk about is the psychology of trading. So many times I meet up with clients and the first thing they tell me is, you know, I can't handle trading because of the psychology of trading, managing my emotions and such things. But for me, I think from my research and from what I've picked up from many people I've interacted with, and I've interacted with quite a number of people who are trading, is most people don't have an issue with psychology. The problem is they don't have a good plan. So for example, if you don't know, if you don't have targets, then you're likely to manage your anxiety rather than manage the trade. If you don't have a systematic way of generating trades or dealing with losses, if you don't have a way of dealing with losses in your plans, then you're likely to react emotionally once you make a loss. If you don't plan your losses, that means you overposition size in some of these trades, then you're likely also to result into emotional trading. So before you even jump into concluding that your problem is emotional trading or other aspects of psychology, maybe you should first make sure you have a systematic plan. I think actually the main issue in psychology of trading is not the emotional part or the revenge trading part. Most of these things you can learn how to manage. The bad part about the psychology of trading are the biases we have. For example, the idea that you must always be right. Some of these things are some of the destructive behaviors that can come from psychology and can really harm you in the markets. Or your ego getting in the way of you when you're trading. So your ego can really get in your way and you decide that you're not probably going to close off the position, or you're probably going to revenge trade, make back all you've lost. So some of these mistakes can really haunt you. Again, boredom. You don't have a position, there's no good opportunity in the market, and instead of you staying out, you're bored, you need some excitement, so you decide to place a position. You're simply gambling in the market, and when you do that, you're likely to lose money. For us to trade and to make money consistently, you need a systematic way of doing things. That includes managing your own psychology. So in your trading plan, there's an aspect of psychology that comes in. How do you access your strengths? How do you manage emotions? How do you manage losses? What are your trading rules? So how do you add into your positions? So psychology of trading, please don't rush to conclude that this is the major problem if you don't have other aspects of your trading ticked. If you have a winning system but you're still not making money, then you can conclude that probably you have a psychological problem. But if you're making money and you're losing money, you're making money and losing money, then probably your system is not well thought of. You're not consistent enough. So you need to focus on developing psychology. You need to focus on keeping your mind in check. You can use some techniques like journaling. You can use one journaling, which is very important in reviewing the journal you've written. Make it detailed also so that it can be of help. And other techniques that we share for those people who will be taking our course programs to ensure your psychology is well taken care of while you're trading the markets. So the fourth thing that I'll talk about, which is the most important aspect of trading, I think if you're trading, if you're planning on taking trading full time, if you're planning on doing trading long term, if that's your goal, if you're planning on making money in this market, the number one skill that you'll have to learn is risk management. How do you manage risk? Everyone is wrong at some point in time, even the best traders. What is important is how much you've lost when you're wrong and how much you make when you're right. So risk management for me comes in balancing between aggression and defense. So how do you play defense at times and how do you play aggression? And for you to understand these two aspects, you also need to understand that risk is a double-edged sword. So because of risk, there's a source of opportunity in the market. but because of risk also, there's a source of danger in the market. So you need to understand how to balance in taking the opportunities while avoiding the dangers. So your primary job as a trader is to manage risk in the markets. If you can't manage risk efficiently, then probably you should just quit on trading, leave it at that, stop it, because by the end of the day, you'll end up losing money. You'll end up blowing an account, and that's not the goal. The goal is not to make money a week or 2 or 3 weeks or a month or a year. It's to survive, to be here trading 10 years, 15 years, 20 years down the line. If you can survive to be around 15 years down the line, then I can guarantee you, you'll be rich, which is the goal. Most people want to be rich. If that's your goal, first learn how to manage risk. Think long term. If you're managing risk, you have to think long term. It's not only one trade that matters. Again, that's another mistake I see most traders make. You only think of trading from a one trade perspective. That's not the goal. The goal is to execute multiple trades and to make money after executing several trades. So if you have executed 100 trades and you've made money, that's good. Unlike someone who executes only 10 trades, makes money out of 5, loses 5, but the 5 losses are enough to make sure the guy has blown the account. Why? Because he becomes emotional after losses. He has over-risked in some of these positions, so he's taken very big position sizes, and that knocks you off in the market. So you need to come up with, you need to understand actually, the first thing that you need to understand before even understanding how to manage risk, you need to understand the element of risk. So you need to understand tail risks, risks that you can't quantify. You need to understand the risks that you can quantify, what you can control and what you can't control, and then focus on how you manage risk efficiently in the market. If you can't manage risk efficiently, I repeat again, you will be knocked out, and when you'll be knocked out, you won't have capital to trade, and that will mark the end of your trading journey. So learn to manage risk, understand risk, and learn how to manage risk efficiently. That's the most important lessons of all I've shared. I think that's one that will really help you if you can learn how to manage risk and manage it well in the markets. So the final lesson that I'll share with you guys is focus on developing the trading skill. Forget about making money, forget about getting rich, focus on developing the skill. And the trading skill is not only about analyzing charts. Very many people can draw support and resistance. Very many people can plot a calendar and know which key events will be affecting the markets. But not very many people can manage risk. Not very many people can manage their psychology and understand themselves in the market. Not many people, again, can execute trades and make money by observing patterns. So you need to learn 3 skills which I think are essential. One is analyzing markets. Can be technical, can be fundamental, can be both. You need to learn how to manage. That's the first thing you need to learn, how to analyze your trades. So sit down, look into your charts, develop a system for analyzing trades, understand the patterns you're using. If it's Elliott's, if it's other patterns, understand technical analysis, understand fundamental analysis, and understand how you'll be generating ideas. The second one is how you manage risk. You need to understand risk. You need to understand the element of risk in this market. Understand probabilities, understand how to use them. After that, you can move into how you manage trades. That is where psychology of trading becomes very important. Understanding yourself, understanding your impulses, understanding if you're short-term or long-term, and understanding your system. So those 3 things need to be intertwined. If you're good in one and bad in another, you won't make money. So if you're good in analysis, you can probably become a very good analyst, but not a trader. If you're a good trader, you also need to be very good at analysis. So you need to make logical analysis, then you can manage trades, then you can now make money from doing what you're doing. But primarily, please focus on developing the skill. Forget about making easy money, forget about trading signals, forget about following 50 gurus. If you're following someone, if you're trying to learn from someone, I'd advise you also to stick to one person. People do it in different ways. If you've found one person who you think is legit, focus on that person. Learn as much as you can from that person. Then you can move to other people. But if you have 10 people you're trying to learn from, I think you're messing yourself up, and that's not profitable ultimately. So focus on developing the skill, which is the last lesson that I'll share with you. And if you can do those 5 things in the right way, you can also come to us. We can guide you into how to do the 5 things that I've talked about in the right way. And if you can do that, then you can be able to make money in the markets. So at least I've shown you an inside look into how we make money. I've shown you can generate returns in the forex market if you're trading it intelligently. You need to forget gambling in the markets. Some people speculate blindly, and when you do that, you end up losing money. But if you understand the process, if you understand what you're doing, if you understand how to manage risk, then you can make money and you can make a living out of this with a good account, obviously. So that's it, guys. Hope to see you next time. Hope to hear from you, and let's talk about markets.